you can be that. If you're a small company, you can become a global brand. You can become a global player without having need to spend the budgets of the multi-billion-dollar companies. And if you're an individual, you can make your dreams come true in this area. You can become an influencer. If that's nothing for you, and people, so a lot of people say, Robin, that's do you do that? It's not nothing for me. It's totally fine that you can do and achieve whatever you want in these times. The technology is out there. The knowledge of the world is out there.
Hi all and welcome to the new episode of Engati Engage. I am Drishti Shah from the Engati team, and today we have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Robin Kiera to our interview series. I would like to begin with just a quick intro of Engati. So Engati is the world's multilingual no-code chatbot platform available across 14 channels with 25,000 bots created across 186 countries in every domain and use case. Engati has also been recognized as a top platform by INC, Tech World, CIO, and many others. We run the Engati blog, video channel, and the Engati Engage podcast, receiving upwards of 300,000 visitors annually. And now for our guest, Robin is the CEO of digitalscouting.de, a consulting and marketing agency. They believe in the thought of making your customers come to you. As a global top-ranked influencer and thought leader, Dr. Robin has been speaking on the biggest stages in finance, insurance, and beyond around the world. As rebel of the industry, Robin combines in-depth industry knowledge, sharp analysis, and thought-provoking arguments with a little bit of fun. His keynote talks regularly are rated with the best talk of the conference. So, Robin, we are really thrilled to have you on Engati.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So before I begin with the first question, we have an exciting announcement. So I would request the audience to stick around to the end.
Okay, I'm super excited now.
Yeah. So growth hacking for Fintech and InsurTech. So how does it actually work, and what sort of consulting work do you provide?
So what is the main idea? The main idea is that you think about where is your target group. You can be a fintech, you can be an insurtech, you can be incumbent, it doesn't matter actually. Where's your target group? With which kind of customers do you want to make business? It can be B2C, it can be B2B, doesn't matter actually. And then you think, where is their attention? Where are they spending their time? Some people still say, oh, let's produce white papers, let's do complex things, let's, have like long form and whatever, or write sophisticated articles. But then you look at, when you're sitting in the boardrooms of InsurTech or even incumbents, and then you look at the magazines, they're still there, but they're not read. But still a lot of people spend a lot of time getting into it, or mainstream media, like the super important honorable newspapers. Everybody loves them. I still, of course, when somebody says, oh, I have been in New York Times, I'm like, oh, super incredible. But I've never read this thing once in my life, at least not in the last 20 years. And maybe this says something about me, but I think all numbers of media usage show that this actually is a phenomenon around the world. Certain media do not have the intention anymore, and others have. And the funny thing is, most large corporations and most successful startups, they're still pouring the money into channels that do not work anymore. And then they're surprised that they have a problem in marketing. So what we're saying is, I'm not a fan of social media. I don't care actually about it, but it's all about where's the attention currently. And if you are in a B2B sales department, for example, if you're leading a B2B sales department, I would always make your sales team members, make your brand so known into the market that for every participant in the market, that they think at you as a solution for their problem, as the number one or number two. And then they will call you when they have the moment of need. And that's the magical moment in sales, because it's better that your client calls you than you call lists of clients. That's why our claim is making your customer come to you. In the end, it's providing valuable content in the channels where your target group is. And hack means, don't be ashamed to, use the ad sign in LinkedIn and really tag the people that you know and that you have been talking to, and do all of these small tricks in order to get the attention of your target group. And if you have that, amazing things start to happen.
Yeah. It does make sense though, because people are targeting like every social media out there, and then maybe they are not focused on one place, and then it's like just falling apart, you know.
Yeah, and you touch on an important point. That's an important point of quantity. Um, we can ask the audience. Everybody can think about this question. How many messages of commercial advertisement do you think you receive a day? When I got asked this question, I was thinking, oh, maybe 100, 200. It's 10,000. It's 10,000 messages of brands each day because you see them everywhere, on books, on shoes, on when you walk down the street, when you are in the internet. And then 10,000 times 30 days, it's 3 million, I think it is. And then you come with your one blog post a month, and then you're surprised that nobody reads and sees it. It's also a game of quantity. We have digital scouting. We have a team of 20 people that are depending on the situation with the clients. But I would say 10 people are producing content only for my personal brand all the time, which is a mess. And sometimes people say, Robin, you're producing so much. I'm so amazed. And they are like, yeah, but I don't do it myself anymore, you know? And that's what I recommend most companies to heavily invest in that, but also have a different philosophy. It's really funny. We pitch again a lot of times in the insurance and finance industry against traditional agencies. And then they say, the company says, this is our budget. And what can you do for us? And then they come with this one movie idea, this one ad for TV, with this one B celebrity. And we come with an idea with doing 324 videos. And we really mean it, because you need to be highly individualized. You need to, if a young person comes to the homepage, then a young person, the video should talk to them. If it's a silver surfer, an old person needs to do it. There are like so many tricks and things you need to do to produce content and to distribute it in the channels where the people are. That's why I also say there's no, when a new platform pops, my main decision to go into it is when people start talking bad about it. It was the same with TikTok. When the people started talking bad about TikTok, and I saw also the first critical articles by journalists, I was like, I need to go there. I really need to do it because this thing is going to about to pop.
Oh, so you think like negative publicity would work, or like what is the mindset behind it?
Okay, I mean, if you violate the rules of your culture, if you really go against the substantial decency, I think that's not a good move. But I had a funny scene at the beginning, shortly before people called me influencer, and I was walking at a conference by people, and people I knew a little bit, and they were trying to make fun. And I said, "Oh, Robin, I saw you took the train here on LinkedIn." Yeah, and I was thinking, yes, but 25,000 others saw that too, because that's the amount, the people saw it on the thing. So it was meant to tease me a little bit, but actually it was a very big compliment, because for me it showed it works.
Yeah.
And that's something. You can have negative publicity if you are a bad person or you do things bad, but there cannot actually. I think there can almost not too few.
Yes. So, like you said, but do you think it would be leveraged, like TikTok can be leveraged for B2B marketing as well?
Yeah, we have a client that is in insurance in a very specific, very high technical market that aims at males 45 to 55 plus. And we had the same discussion internally, and we said, let's just try it out. And what happened is that the reactions showed, the comments under the videos showed, because we showed some technology and some machines and all of that. And the technology was, the comments were so clear that that the community of the people that are interested in this technology and in these machines are there. So totally to my surprise, I thought we would go viral with like a younger demographic. But what we see with TikTok and other platforms, they start in a certain demographic. Believe it or not, Facebook did not start for 50-year-olds like now it is now, but it started for young college students.
Yeah.
So these people get older, and older demographics come on top of it. It's always the same. And at the first, and that's the magic of these new platforms, is a lot of people go there, a lot of attention is there, but as I mentioned, a lot of big corporations are wasting their money with channels that don't work anymore.
Yeah.
So you get a large organic reach as a content creator there. I mean, I got several million views on TikTok in a very, very short period of time, and I'm surely not a model or funny or anything like that. I have like some travel videos and influencer things and some insurance topics on it, for God's sake. I think that's the magic of these new platforms. You get a large organic reach, and if you're the last at the party, like even the MNSs, still multi-billion-dollar insurance and companies and banks that are not on your YouTube, I already say to them, just don't bother, because it's not the organic game changer. You need to be there so people see that you're there, but you cannot revive your brand with that. So look out for these platforms that are new. But all in all, if you're a B2B company or a B2C company, if you're an agent, a broker, a bank employee, or in any other industry, it doesn't matter. I think it's important that you start with the platform you like. If you like LinkedIn, go all in on LinkedIn and try yourself out. If you like Twitter, go on Twitter. And if you like YouTube, just go for YouTube. And if whatever you like, that's super important that you do something you're passionate about, you like doing. Just because it's you don't have the persistence if you don't. And then when you see the success, as it, for example, it was in our case, I mean, our channels blew up. We have 10,000 of fans around the world in a very small niche, the insurance and finance industry. Our articles really are read by the industry. And my wife always jokes when I say, "Oh, I got another mail about my radical article I wrote." And she says always, Robin, if you post something in the internet, don't are surprised that actually people read it. And I think that's also an important point, is really just start with what's something you're passionate about. And I mean, I started with insurance topics and I thought nobody would actually consume it, and only like a super small niche of nerds, but now it's a wide community. So if it does not matter what you're passionate about, just go for it. And I think that's super important. And start with the channel that's natural to you.
Yeah. That actually, persistence is the first thing. It won't be like just as fast or as overnight, especially for, I think, B2B companies, because it takes a lot of time to develop a trust that in the company where customer can come to you. And it depends on how you also market, so it might take time to figure it out, and persistence, of course.
In our experience, it takes some time. So that's why when our clients are new and they're super excited, they want to start, I always say, when do you want to see the success? And then they say, I need the big client in 3 months. I say, there's no way that we can do it and we won't work together, because I do not want to disappoint you. But it's mostly between 9 and 12 months. Then you see the tipping point, and then the people start, hey, this partner started calling us. Or my favorite example is a client we had, a super small insurer, which Amazon approached suddenly and said, we want to do the first Amazon voice skills selling an insurance worldwide with you. And why? Because they were so present on social media, and their insurance guys, they saw them all the time and said, oh, these guys are obviously innovative and want to try new things. So magical things start to happen. For example, at the beginning of each year, I'm making a list of which kind of key accounts we want to work with, what our main clients are, and what kind of new clients or fresh clients we want to work with. Mostly at the end of the year, the list is totally different, but the list is always full. And that's something that is the magic of social media, because people come to you in their moment of need. I think that's even more important in the crisis like this.
Right. That's true. And I think approaching somebody that huge coming because of using social media, I mean, then everybody can leverage and can do it if they are doing it the right way.
Yeah, totally. And again, you never can guarantee it. It's like you never can guarantee that something like that happens, but that things like that happen, that you see an acceleration of conversion. You start the conversation with a person that follows you on social media, and you share all the time the content that's important to them and nice things. You start the conversation, the sales process totally different. You save months. Use the likelihood that your conversion actually, that the sale happens, and in the B2B space, I mean, we're talking about some significant sums here, is more likely, and the sales process is even accelerated and faster. And it's a very economic calculation. If you have a large project. I don't know how like a good large project is sum for you, but let's say it's a $1 million or something. And if you are able to shorten the lead time from 18 months to 12 months, within 3 years, you make $1 million extra only with one client. And I think that's the magic, because people always say, oh, social media, especially old decision makers say, oh, social media is just for the young, it's for kids. And yeah, we need to do it for branding and recruitment. I say, no, you need to do it for your bottom line.
Yeah, there are myths surrounding that. So first, the people need to have the trust that social media can change their game, and then go about it. So believe in it before you do it. So that might help. Yeah.
Yeah, and you need to be open. I always say to decision makers when they are talking about, I don't know, that their kids are using cell phones at their dinner table, or they're complaining, no, people do not talk anymore, they just texting. I say that may be the case, but you're a decision maker. Your job is to secure the future of your company. Maybe it's your own, maybe you're just an employee there, but that's your job. And you can make your decision. You can have a private opinion about anything. You can have a private opinion about technology. You can say, I don't use it. I know I use landline. I write letters. It's totally fine. But when you base economic decision and investment decisions, you should do it very without your personal emotions. And that's just look at the numbers and the facts. And we live in the year 2020. If you don't do these things and take advantage of these things, you will be wiped out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So talking about these practices, so how are the practices like for Europe from the US or the rest of the world? How are they different, and what do organizations need to consider while entering Europe for digital products?
Yeah, so I would say the main philosophies, principles are the same everywhere. I mean, all the data shows it. All generations, all demographic groups, social demographic groups are more and more using different channels. We have differences in different countries. Some countries have their own social media channels. We have the WeChat in China. We have Xing in Germany, which was like a small competitor of LinkedIn. I think you have also in India some local and regional players on that behalf, and actually all around the world you have that, or in industries. So that's the difference. But the main principle is deliver value to your customer base, to your fans. Give. Do not make sales. Do not talk about your product. I mean, of course, mention it once in a while what you're offering. It's totally great. Like you did at the beginning of the podcast. That's awesome. People understand. Okay, and if I have a chatbot problem, I actually probably should give them a call. Or if I want one new one that actually works. And with people that have done it before, like 25,000 times. And that's cool. But do not do advertisement like crazy in your content. This is the universal rule, and massive. You need to be out there massively. Another thing is partner. We do a lot of media partnerships around the world for us or our clients, and get partners on board. And we do a live show actually on the insurance and finance industry 3 times a week. And we have partners. And I said, this thing is too big for myself. We need to partner. We need to bring on other people there and share everything. And then you get bigger, and your part is bigger than that. That I would say is all over the world the same. From the certain type of content, it also depends from industry to industry, but I would always do three mixes. One is really the content about your industry, the knowledge sharing, super important. The second is people, you won't believe it or not, but people are interested in the person. They want to know what are they doing, what are their values, what are their hobbies. I mean, I always post when I'm frustrated when my sport club loses, and I'm waiting for the first national title since 1988, which is a very long time. And it's just funny. A lot of sports fans like that, but I do it because I really believe it I believe in it, and I love this club, and despite all the challenges and no fun at all, actually, that is that one. Never mind. And the third thing is it's entertainment. People want to be entertained, have fun. I mean, I'm in an industry that's supposedly not excited. I think it's super excited, the best place to be in this planet. But some people think that not. And be entertaining. We all need to have some fun. And when I decided to also I'm a typical German, so that does mean I love privacy and separate private and business and all of that. And at some point I said, I don't care, I don't do it anymore. I'm online as I'm offline. I do not have these two versions anymore. I'm here sitting in my living room. 10 years ago I would not have done that. I probably would have sat in a suit. And what I want to say with that is, I think that's super important to also show your person, because then when people meet you, you enter the conversation at a different level. And by the way, if something doesn't go well, you have a lot of people out there that help you. That's no doubt about it. So I think that are the three things: valuable content, personal things, and entertainment.
Yes. Entertainment, actually. I agree with you totally. Entertaining content will always attract people. And, with the situation going on in the world, I think entertainment is one bit that people will always get hooked to. So,
Yeah, but it's sometimes frustrating. You write a complex article, or you get some thought leaders together, you discuss some silly, really cool things, or you have a C-suit that actually shares a number that's super important in the industry, and then you do a selfie out of the airplane, and that gets like 10 times more views, and you're like, come on, guys, really?
yeah, that makes sense. Totally, totally. So, uh, like, how do you see the technology or the AI gaining ground in the industry, insurance industry in Europe? And what functions do you see get to the early adoption of AI products?
Well, I think AI is now a abbreviation that even decision makers in the insurance industry understand. They can spell it, but that's about it. In most cases, they think having some rule-based engines in their fraud department, that's AI. But I mean, I've been working also in the gaming industry, where we had like self-correcting and sustaining algorithms in marketing and whatever, or in the banking industry, which is 10 times ahead of insurance in that the thing. So what we see slowly are at certain points in claims management, we see more AI or rule-based things in marketing, maybe a little bit, but this is super at the beginning. I mean, a lot of insurers are trying to do it, but to combine that with their old legacy IT system is super horrible. Even with like large vendors, they're not. So it's not in the core of the industry, and they are just at the beginning. And I think still a lot need to be convinced that this works, because actually, let's talk about it. In the internal departments, thousands, 100,000s of jobs will be erased by AI. There's
Yeah.
no reason why I witnessed this. There's an office here, and there's an office here. Here, a person prints something out from their computer, so structured data to unstructured data. It goes via internal house mail with a little wooden wagon, goes to this other neighboring office, and here a person sits and types in the same unstructured data that was printed out by this lady here, because their computer cannot talk and their system don't talk, and that nobody cares actually to invest the money that this happens. This is like a mass phenomenon. Insurance and finance has a lot of data, but most of the time the systems do not talk to each other. So so I think that's the situation a little bit.
Yeah. So, do you think that, like you said, the data that is generated, that is huge? So, do you think AI can help in sorting out and giving out rich analytics from the data that is there?
Totally. So what we can see, especially in the claims department, in underwriting and claims, actually. So what my favorite example is Go Insurance in Israel, which is a spin-off of a large mutual insurer there. And what they did is they use an algorithm that goes over your internet proof footprint when you apply for a car insurance, and then they select the bad risks. So if you are a very nice person in filling out the form, but you have drunk pictures on Facebook, then they do not or give you a bad quote. So what they were able to do is that they are able to lower the combined ratio from 92 or 98% to 54. So what does it mean? When you use AI, you are able to lower your combined ratio below the internal pricing point of your competitors. You can crush and take over the market.
Yeah.
And that's trillions.
Yeah, that is true. So, Speaking about AI, what do you think conversational intelligence and chatbots will have an impact on, and how do you think that can, you know, increase or enhance the customer experience?
I think that's a super valuable point. It's super important. Why? Because you have thousands of of telephone agents in call centers. I think a large majority of that can be replaced by conversational AI. And
Mhm.
I, as a customer, actually, I don't care if my question, oh, I want to answer, I want to change my address. What was my premium again? When does my insurance end? All these things people ask. And by the way, the questions that customers ask are mostly always the same. I mean, not always, but like 80%. I don't know what your numbers are, but to replace this by conversational AI, may it be a bot in writing or a bot in a voice, I think that will reduce the amount of effort and resources tremendously. And I think it's only fair to the people working there. It's not only about like letting go of people, but I mean, if you do a task a machine can do for you, it's a waste of your life. So
Mm.
maybe you can do a way more valuable task inside the organization. Create, for example, content for the company or something like that. So yeah, it will be a game changer. The companies that invest in that and do that, they
Mm.
will win, and the other ones will die. It's simply like that.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, we have a very like a live example of how people have
Yeah,
used conversational intelligence and chatbots. So we have a customer, Qatar Insurance,
yeah,
and
cool.
they have like skyrocketed their sales using chatbot because it becomes very easy. Like I get to select from the plethora of options that they have, and I do not have to wait for the customer agent to come back to me but after I'm dialing one and just waiting for the tone to get completed. I
Yeah,
just get it in seconds, and that's the best and the easiest conversion that you can get.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you believe automation will penetrate and have an impact on finance, banking, and insurance firms, especially in Europe?
Yes, yes. We have certain companies. I know and I see it that you have especially small and mid-sized player that are led by very thought-leading and smart decision makers, or there's a combination of decision makers that just want to survive, so help the company survive.
Yeah.
They are working on these things, but you have others that are still working with punch hole cards, and they think they're super state of the art because they have a lab in Berlin.
Yeah. So, and how can automation build like change the game in social media marketing?
Well, I think in analytics, to really understand when I buy clients in the internet, to really understand what is my likelihood of how much money am I going to make it. We see this already in online gaming since 5 or 10 years that they're capable of doing these things. This could also be done in other segments in the industry.
Yeah.
Analytics, then to really maybe also have auto-generated content. I've seen auto-generated text in
Mm.
sports that super work very well. And then you can even go deeper. Why not actually, when a person comes to your homepage, create a user experience tailor-made for this person?
Mhm.
I think technically at some point that will be possible for fractions of the cost right now, and then you increase the the chances of success of the sale, of
Mm.
course, compared to the website where you just see a vanilla, I don't know, logo and no nothing you can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think those will win that do put in the effort now. It's like with sports. If you
Mm.
want to go to a marathon and you train, you win. If you do not train and you just think up with with your 120 kilos, you can survive this. Good luck with that.
Yeah. So, do you like have any other thoughts that you would like to leave our audiences with?
Yeah, I would say if you're now in lockdown or when people watch this later and it's over, and I think it's not right now. We live in the most exciting times, I think, in human history. Uh, the technology enables everybody to take place at the global market of ideas global market of sales. We at Digital Scouting, we have actually decided to go global. What does it mean? Now, when everybody does workshops also remote and has remote capacities, you can be present on a global level. There's no reason why we could not help insurers in Japan or India or the Emirates, actually, where we also have the one or where we are present in a certain way. So I think that's super important. You can be that. If you're a small company, you can become a global brand. You can become a global player without having need to spend the budgets of the multi-billion-dollar companies. And if you're an individual, you can make your dreams come true in this area. You can become an influencer. If that's nothing for you, and people, so a lot of people say, Robin, that's do you do that? It's not nothing for me. It's totally fine that you can do and achieve whatever you want in these times. The technology is out there. The knowledge of the world is out there. I have friends that became server programmers by YouTube and watching tutorial videos. It's all possible. There's no class, no gender, no whatever barrier. Of course there is. Don't get me wrong. I understand there still is. But in the internet, makes it way easier than my grandfather's father's generation, where they if their boss didn't like them, they had a true problem. And I think that's it. We live in a great time. Use this opportunity, try things out, start. You only can win.
Yes, that is actually a very strong message to put out. And I think people who are still hesitating to embrace technology can at least start with it, so that after, when this pandemic is over, they are at least ahead and have an edge over their competitors.
Totally.
So that's a really good message and advice, Robin. Thank you so much. So your insights were like really valuable, and I think our audience will be having a really good time listening to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So if you're stuck around for this long, we have just launched our newest ebook titled Getting to New Normalcy, Work from Home to Return to Office. So check the link in the description below for more details. We'll be back with a new episode with a brand new expert soon, so stay tuned. And we'll see you around for the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, guys.